Try to black it out, but it plays again. When it's real, feeling's hard to conceal. Can't imagine all the pain I feel. Give anything to hear half your breath. I know you still living your life after death.
Every step I take, oh, every move I make, every single day, every time I pray, I'll be missing you. Thinking of the day, oh, when you went away. Oh no, when a life to take, what a bond to break, I'll be missing you. One glad morning, when this life is over, I know I'll see your face.
Before we start this episode, we would like to say this is in memory of Ryan, Bad Rep Ailman, Eli, True Boy Clayton, and Taylor, Spot Me Please, Robertson. Yo, 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 what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to the You Stuck With Me podcast.
You stuck me.
Bang, we're about to get into this episode, and this one is going to be a tough one.
I wasn't really looking forward to it, but
So, in the previous seasons, and if you guys have been seeing us on social media, we talked about the incidents of August 20th. That was
26,
I'm sorry, August 26th, 2018.
18.
That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago, we were unfortunate victims in a mass shooting. It started out as a very beautiful day. We were down in Jacksonville, Florida for a tournament, Madden tournament, our very first professional Madden tournament. And we stayed the weekend. I think we flew down there that Thursday.
Yeah.
Flew down that Thursday. We ended up leaving that Sunday. We were looking forward to our first tournament. One of our other crewmates, Ryan Ailman, aka Bad Rep, we miss you, man. We were practicing and getting ready for the tournament. I remember us first getting to the event space, and we were just checking it out, seeing what it looked like, just how it was set up. This was Madden 19, and at the time we were just very excited. It was our first tournament. We spent the year prior watching all the tournament games the season prior, and we were just excited just to showcase what we could do. I remember specifically we went to, I think it was that Friday, me, you, and Rep went to Hooters.
Yeah.
That was funny. And then we also went to the shopping mall. We did a little shopping too. Rep was with us. He was looking at us funny because of all the crazy stuff that we were getting from Spencer's. Just all the random funny stuff that was going on.
And then that was the year that the Raptor 4s came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, this is a nice shoe, but I'm going to pass it up because I knew we was going to Florida for the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rap Fashion, he was like, you know you want those shoes.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be of my size. So he was like, come on sis. It's a done deal. Like, they wouldn't have them. They were made for you.
So you did end up getting the shoes, and I remember Friday night, because his hotel wasn't ready yet. He stayed with us at the Airbnb. That night we were eating pizza and we were practicing for the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, all the times I played rap, I never did beat him in Madden.
I can't say the same. I never beat him either.
So at that time we knew who the top dog was.
Yeah.
So I remember when we got up that morning, Saturday morning. So to break down the way that the tournament went. So you had for lack of a better word, division. So it was 4 of us in the division, or it was supposed to be 4 in the division before they got to the next
I'm
day.
gonna say division. It was like a live ladder brackets.
Thank you. That's
Live
what,
ladder
that's what
brackets, and you have like your group A. Let's just for the sake of conversation, you group A, you group B, you group C.
Mm-hmm.
So me and you was actually in the same group.
Yeah.
Cause I think in a way it kind of tied into when you registered.
Yeah, we just happened to register at the same time. So, which we came to find out at the time, we didn't know no better. We should have registered at different times.
Right.
But so we're in our live ladder. So it's you, me. We had another guy. I don't remember his name, and of course Joe. Shout out to Joe. So we all competed against each other, and it was out of those 4, and
it was like a round table. So it was the best out of. So you have 4 people. So the best out of 4.
Mm-hmm. Or the best out of 3.
Best out of 3 because you can't play yourself. So.
So we played. I won that game. I beat the other guy who was in our ladder, but I lost to Joe. Joe beat all of us.
Yeah.
So by the
so
way,
it was the top 2 of your live group that advanced on.
So that next day, that's how I advanced to the next day.
So that was Sunday.
So the next day was
next day was Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, or was it Saturday?
No, it was Sunday.
Oh okay. Oh yeah, because we flew home that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So that was my saying. We flew home Monday. So the next day, I advanced to the round robin elimination tournament. So the first person I ended up playing was Deliverance, aka his name was Mike Panic. But shout out to Deliverance. So he beat me in that first round, so I was eliminated. So we decided that we were going to stay and see who ended up winning the entire tournament because it was a $5,000 prize.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we don't play when it comes to Madden. We play for the big money.
Mm-hmm.
More money.
So after, I think it was probably 2 to 3 rounds into the tournament, and Taylor turns to me and she says she's hungry. Now notice I said Taylor because this is a very serious topic. Otherwise I would have said beautiful. But she turns to me and says that she's hungry. So we decide that we're gonna go to the pizza bar or to the bar and order a pizza.
So before you go into, I want to paint a better picture. Mm-hmm. So the actual event space was it was a 2-in-1. So when you walk in, you're actually walking into the pizza restaurant, the pizza bar, and in the back they just got like a setup that with video games and stuff like that. I think it was like 2 businesses in one because it was a pizzeria and it was a game bar.
Mm-hmm.
So we was in the game bar area, and then we walked into like an intersection with a door. That's when you walk into the restaurant.
So once we got there, we sat down, and I'm gonna tell you something that's a little chilling later. So we sat down and we're waiting for someone to come take our order at the bar. All of a sudden, we hear pop.
Well, no, they did take our order. Remember?
I don't recall them actually.
Yeah, because we was on our phones or whatever like that. They was like, we'll be right with you guys. And then the lady came. She was like, how can I help you? We was like, okay, we'll just get the meat lover special because everybody had it and it looked so good.
Oh yeah. So we got the meat lover special, and then we waited for them to bring it. So while sitting there at the bar waiting for the food, we hear a pop, and then everybody in there jumps like it was.
And we looking at each other like, what was that?
And my first thought was like, it's a balloon, but then I sat there, somebody like, wait, there's no balloons in here.
And then that's when we ducked.
That's when we started hearing repeated pops and realized they were gunshots.
Yeah.
So we were actually probably one of the first 5 people closest to the exit. So to paint the picture for you even more, so you can understand it. So to our right was the exit to the restaurant. To our left was going back towards where everybody was playing the game. So when we realized there was gunshots, we all ducked for cover and started trying to run for the exit. Between us two, I was the first one to make it out, and then she called me, and I turned around and realized that she was limping, and I ran back to grab her, and we ran to somewhere that we thought was safe.
Well, can I tell this part?
Go ahead.
So, to backtrack a little bit, you were right in the proximity of both exits. You did make it out first. So, my point of view was it that I'm on, well, I wouldn't say we were the first 5 people because it was like a group of people that bum rushed the exit. So, oh, excuse me. So, you made it out before I did, but I was behind you. But of course, there's like all these bunch of people bum rushing the door, trying to duck down because we didn't know where the gunshot was coming from. So I'm on the floor, I'm crawling. While I'm crawling, a larger lady tramples over me on my leg. So now at this point, I don't even feel, because through it all, I suffered a sprained ankle, but I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just crawling, and then I finally see Marquis, and I'm on the ground. I try to get up, but can't place no weight on my ankle. So I see him, I'm like, babe. I'm trying to call him, and I'm hoping that he hears me, because like everybody's like scattered around at this point. So he turns around, and he was like, come on. So he gets me up, and then we tried to hide in the closest shelter we could see. So at that point, it was the freight elevator.
And so we were pushing the freight elevator.
It wasn't open.
And then
across the way, it was a Hispanic guy who worked in the restaurant. He saw us, and we was like, hey, we need in, but he closed the door on us.
Yeah, and then
so I don't know if that was a language barrier or what. So then one of the coordinators from the tournament actually happened to come up and see us or whatever like that. He knocking on the door, and he's like, no, don't close the door. There's an active shooter next door. So then that's when he opened the door, he let us in, and then by that time, I guess word spread like wildfire because everybody that was in the restaurant moved towards the restrooms. And then that's when all of us in the restroom, I'm in a stall at this point. I'm sitting on the toilet with my leg propped up because it's like in excruciating pain. And I'm just like...
I remember at that point you were sitting there, and I was trying to make sure that you were calm, make sure that you were good. Like, hey, babe, we made it out. But I wanted to keep us, have our heads down because we didn't know if a bullet could go through the wall. So we were sitting there, and we were hiding in the bathroom. It had to be about a good 10, 12, maybe 15 of us in that bathroom alone.
Yeah.
And so you're in pain. I'm like, okay, let me see if I can.
We had to tell everybody like, hey, let me through, because I can't stand at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the adrenaline is just like calming down. So now I'm feeling all the effects in this ankle.
So I'm like, okay, babe, let me run out and see if I can go get help. Because we were in the bathroom. We didn't know what was going on. So I decided I was going to run out and get help. And I was able to track down EMT. And I'm like, hey, come on. We got somebody in the bathroom who's injured. So I was able to get them to come with me. And this is the disturbing part, I was asking the EMT, because by that point, he had already came out the restaurant. I said, do you know what's going on? Like, is anybody hurt? What's the significance? He's like, well, unfortunately, we have 2 dead. And the first person that came to my mind was True-Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no. And the only reason why he came to mind is because
we had just saw him.
And he was the first one sitting at the exit playing the game.
Yeah.
Which we also come to find out after the fact that while we were walking out of that area, the shooter was walking in. We literally walked past him.
Yeah.
And
so we get to the hospital, and we went to a nearby hospital. They checking me out. So of course, we asking for phones because we just basically dropped everything.
Yeah, we left
there. Like, it got so bad, me and him were wearing flip-flops. Those were gone.
Yeah, we left our flip-flops, our cell phones. I think those are the only things that we left when we were trying to get out. So while we're at the hospital,
we turned on the TV, and that's all on the news. So the 2 casualties that the EMT was talking about, They actually, that's after a while they did release the names, and then that's when they said it was True Boy, and we was shocked by Spot Me, and that happened because he was just a casualty because he was in the shooter's eyesight trying to get out.
And while we're at the hospital, I called my mom and I told her I couldn't get it out. She was like, "What's wrong? Tell me." I'm like, "Mom, there was the shooting." And at the time, she was working, but she was watching old recorded TV shows, and then she turned to the news. It was all over the news. And I told her like, "Hey, we're okay. We made it out."
We're in the hospital now because I had a sprained ankle.
Yeah, and I had bruises and stuff all over my legs from trying to get out. And we prior to getting down there to Jacksonville, I was playing, Madden heavily, and I, met up with one of my guys. His name was Lee. Shout out to Lee because he was definitely clutch while we were down there. I mean, he was making sure that we were good. He was when he heard what was going on, he knew that we were down there. He literally left work running from hospital to hospital to find us. And then we did tell him where we were staying, and by the time he found us, we were back at our Airbnb.
And he took us back to the scene.
Yeah, to get our stuff. And so when I opened the door and to let him know that we were here, the first thing he did, he just gave us the biggest hug. So,
I think he cried a little too.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
So, Lee, for everything that you did for us, thank you.
Thank you.
So we went down there. We went back to the scene to get our stuff. Because by that time I forgot how we got noticed that we could go back.
So what happened was, since we lost our phones, we got back to the Airbnb, and shout out, I don't know their names, but shout outs to the family that saw us coming out the hospital that helped us get a ride back to our Airbnb.
Yes.
Cause it was like, you see strangers, you not trying to help them out or whatever like that, but they caught wind or what happened, and we was like, we just trying to get back to our Airbnb, we lost our phones and stuff like that. So I think they was able to get us an Uber.
Mm-hmm.
To get us an Uber to go back to the Airbnb. It was like, our Airbnb is like 10 minutes away from here.
Mm-hmm.
So we get back there. So our Airbnb was not that far from the scene. So I knew our phones were still around because I had my Apple Watch on, and I'm just getting like this was like around the time the second generation Apple Watch was out. So now, since I'm in close proximity, I'm getting all the messages and stuff because we had posted on social media like, "Hey, we down here at this tournament, we about to win big money." So we just getting all the messages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And through Facebook, your mom was able to reach out to the sergeant,
mm-hmm.
and that's he was like, we recovered your items, your belongings. You just got to come down and get them. Because at first they was trying to keep it as evidence, but then we was like, well, we got to go back home to Chicago. We can't go back without no communication. So that's how we was able to give our stuff back.
And I remember as I was walking we were walking to pick up our stuff.
I didn't want to go back at all.
I didn't want to go back either, but we had to because our phones and stuff were there. So as we were walking towards it, and the media was there, and
they just interviewing everybody. That basically, first of all, a lot of those interviews that you see, a good number of people were not there. They was in the surrounding area.
Yeah. So it was a lot of people saying stuff just to be on TV.
And at first they saw me on crutches, and they put two to two together. I'm like, no comment, but you stopped.
I was originally with you and said no comment, and then I had a split second. I'm like, you know what? It's not often that you get the opportunity to make change with the platform that you have.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say something, and I said what I said on the news, and it was all over the place. I went from, in about probably 15 seconds time, I went from having one person, a camera and a microphone in my face to probably having about 10 to 12.
We had a whole paparazzi around us.
Yeah.
So then now they looking at me like, so
where you shot?
Where's I shot? And I didn't want to say nothing at first because I'm still trying to process stuff. And then I remember I looked at you. You was like, why not? This would be the perfect time to say something, because you don't want them to say that you got shot and you really didn't get shot.
You don't want nobody to misconstrue the
right.
story.
So that's what a infamous image of a redhead with a Bears jersey, some shorts with some pumps on, with on crutches, and I just looked. I honestly, now looking at those pictures, I was out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
It was an out of body experience. Like I just could not believe that happened.
and then once we were able to get back to the Airbnb for good, and that's when
WGN came.
well, I was still in Florida. That's when
WGN came
I was
to our Airbnb.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's when WGN came, and then the owners of the Airbnb, they had cameras around it.
And they wasn't just looking like what's
What's
going on.
And then when they came in, they put two and two together, and they like, look, if you guys need to stay
Yeah,
extra
and then
night. So
by all means, it's no charge or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we were so thankful for that.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, we getting on the first thing smoking.
Yeah, we just wanted to go home at that point. So
when we was getting home, ooh.
When we were on our way home, through the airport, people were staring at us because evidently they saw.
Yeah.
So they were staring at us. They were staring at us getting on the plane.
We stuck out as a sore thumb because now at this point I'm on crutches. I had a boot.
Mm-hmm.
I can't walk. And so now he's pushing me around in a wheelchair and everything like that. And I knew that everybody knew when we was going through TSA.
Yeah, because they were looking at us getting on the plane while we were on the plane, getting off the plane. And
then but I will say this though, we had a few people that said, thank God you're safe,
mm-hmm.
Or best of luck to your recovery. But, to me, I'd rather have that than the stairs. Because at one point I was getting agitated. I was like, babe, I wish everybody stopped looking at us like we a science specimen.
I remember.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, if you're going to look, don't make it obvious. Like, it's already bad enough that we went through this. And then some people said some dumb stuff too. I can't remember what it was because it was so dumb. But I was like, I'd rather people not say anything at all.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing about it is when we got home, this is when we first learned the power of the media. If they want to find you, they're going to find you.
So after we in the car at this point, even the ticket person looked at us.
Yeah.
And I think they had their little TV on too, watching the news thing.
And they just happened to see us.
Yes, and I'm like, the irony.
And then even when we were in the car on the way back home, at this point we were back in Chicago. We were in the car, and then we see people like gawking at us, like they just happen to turn up, they just happen to look and see us, and they wouldn't stop looking.
Cause we finally got back, we met up with your mom, and that's when your mom showed us the paper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wanted to be famous, but not in this way.
And the thing about it is, like, when it came to the media, we got requests from NPR, we got requests from CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, WGN. We were almost on Good Morning America. We did a radio show that was out in Seattle. We did another show that it was a young lady that I went to college with. She asked us to talk about it.
We did. Y'all know the Now This videos that we have on Facebook. We did that interview.
Yeah, and something else that we realized, people are mean because they were in comments, and we at the time we didn't know no better. But I shouldn't have been reading comments. Me personally, people were saying things that were so insensitive and mean, and you realize that keyboards are giving people the platform and the strength to say something without any type of repercussion.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. And after that, it took a long time to get back to normal because going back to work, I had survivor's remorse at work. I went back to work too soon. I should have stayed home.
I was out of work for probably 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, that was some depressing times.
Yeah, and fortunately for us, we did make a lot of friends in the man community.
Yeah.
From that incident, obviously, our friend Ryan cried he was there.
Yeah.
So he made it out, and we actually, between us three, we actually haven't maybe only talked about it once, and I think that's only because we went to the tribute afterwards. That was like a month later.
Was it a month later?
It may have been sooner.
Oh, I don't remember. I just remember, honestly, a lot of that was a blur because I purposely blocked it out because it was traumatizing. And then you talk about survivor's guilt. Me going back to work was the hardest because it was like, you know how we were just talking about how everybody was gawking at you and stuff like that. So at the time, I was working at a hospital. I was doing food service, and you know I had this special unit. I had this certain unit, and I just remember coming back, and I had this coworker who worked in EVS. Shout out to Miss V. You know I call her my mom or whatever. And she, you know, she was really caring about me, and we was having a conversation. Next thing you know, one of the patient's family members was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here. I'm here." And she was like, "Yeah, 'cause I remember seeing you on the TV in the unit break room, and I was like, that's the lady that served my mom's food." Then also, a rumor came around in the workplace that I got shot in the foot, and they didn't know if they had to amputate or what. So it was just like maneuvering that, and then dealing with PTSD because that did cause PTSD. It was a lot. So
Yeah, I mean, you guys, we look at life differently, and we cherish it with every moment. But we want to share that aspect of our lives with you, so that
another pillar why we say you stuck with me.
exactly.
And this was before we said I do.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
But Bay, you want to tell the people where they can find us?
You can find us on Facebook under the You Stuck With Me podcast page. And you can find us on Instagram, that is You Stuck With Me _podcast. Babe, you want to tell them how they can reach us out to us directly?
You guys can send us emails at our email, youstuckwithme@gmail.com. That is USTUCKWITME@gmail.com. Send us sticky notes there, or you can send it to our Facebook or Instagram post, which you can find me personally on Instagram. That is mine_1 and 1NE_1. And you can also find me at the same name on Twitter, M1NE_1.
And you can find me directly on Instagram and the app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PONONTZ. Again, that is Queen Points, PONONTZ. And follow me on TikTok. That is Queen Points 22. Again, that's Queen Points 22.
And once again, this is your boy Marquis.
And this is your one and only, your favorite Taylor.
And thank you for tuning in to our episode.
Hey, come back.
You stuck with us for real.
You stuck with me.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.